morning. What's up? Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Alamo City Sportscast. We are going on time today. Like usual, Mike is late. He'll be walking in here in probably about another minute or so. But until he does, we're going to go ahead and leave the Marbach mop picture up. Make sure that we are live on all streaming platforms. You're here. And now we can take the picture off. There's Matt Lerma. I'm dead. Mike running late again. We will have Jeff Garcia joining us today. He'll be joining us around 10:30. We're going to be talking all things Spurs and Big Texas Comic-Con. He will be hosting some panels over the weekend, so he's going to talk to us a little bit about that. We'll also discuss NFL power rankings. That just came out as well, so we'll see where the Cowboys and the Saints are.
What's going on, brother?
What's up?
Coming in with a big injury for the Houston Texans, by the way.
Yeah, saw that too. We'll talk about that.
Big injury for the Saints, too.
Yeah, man, the injury bug is biting everybody right now. I don't like this new thing that YouTube did right now.
Welcome to another episode of the Alamo City Sportscast with Mike Jimenez and Joe Garcia. Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Join the discussion as we broadcast live from beautiful West San Antonio. And remember to tip your hosts as it helps the show grow.
What's up, San Antonio? What's going on, South Texas? This is the Alamo City Sportscast coming at you from the west side of San Antonio. My name is Mike Jimenez. That is Joe Garcia. I am here on time. It's a special day. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. What do we do on hump days, Joe, especially during the Spurs season? We have the Godfather, Moneybags himself, Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and KENS 5 will join us today during the show at 10:30. This show goes on from 10 to about 11:30 or so. We're the only sports talk show in town right now at this hour here in San Antonio because San Antonio Sports Star and Ticket 760 go to national syndication. If you want to talk local sports talk, here's where you come to, right? More than 1,000 subscribers strong. And before we even get going with the show, hit the like button already. Hit it already. It's right there. Hit the like button. And don't forget to share and subscribe to our network here. Joe Garcia, how you doing today, my man?
Doing good, man. You know what begs the question? Did we play the money music when Jeff comes on today?
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Yeah, baby.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Because we haven't
Money
introduced him
bags.
proper in a while, man.
Moneybags, the godfather of Spurs media is what I've dubbed him on Twitter today. But if you have any questions for him, you can reach out to me on Twitter at MJAcquireTaste. And you can leave a question and for Jeff Garcia to answer regarding the Spurs. The Spurs have one preseason game under their belt already. Lost to Oklahoma City Thunder in the first game. Today, though, we'll be talking about the Spurs' upcoming game against the Orlando Magic. Tip-off at 7 o'clock at the Frost Bank Center. According to ESPN.com, tickets as low as $3 available.
Yeah, don't let that fool you, man. Once the Ticketmaster, fees hit you, it's going to be more like $10, $15.
So are we going to see Wemby? Are we going to see Chris Paul?
Yeah, supposedly Wemby's going to be playing in this game. I don't know if CP3 will play. I think Coach Pop will probably want to hold him out until like the last game of the preseason. I don't think he's going to play him. I'd be really surprised if he sees some playing time today.
Yeah, I can see that because CP3 is somebody who gets hurt all the time.
Why would you want to put him in preseason and then he pulls up lame with that hamstring injury again? Just save him for the regular season. Let him play like 3 minutes, the final preseason game, and just sit him down, man.
Dude, I'm just thinking about it. Are we going to see more Stefan Castle magic? Because that first preseason game, He went out there and just had a monster dunk, showing the athleticism. What did we say yesterday? Trey Jones could never. We love Trey Jones around here. We think Trey Jones is a good player and all.
You don't
But the
got
fact
the
of the
hops,
matter is
man.
he doesn't have the hops that Stefan Castle does. It was beautiful.
Look, man, Trey Jones is a good point guard, backup point guard, right?
Right.
He's going to run that second unit fabulously. He's going to run it, not discounting him in any way. But when it comes to the disparity of looking at somebody who is young, who is athletic, and is exciting and is going to electrify the crowd, should I say, Trey Jones ain't it, dude.
Well, I have it up on my screen right here.
He'll get the job done, but he ain't it.
Courtesy of the CW the other day. Stefan Castle's just going in for that monster dunk. Keldon Johnson, his new teammate, taken aback by it. I'm sorry, but this is the athleticism that you need in 2024, especially at the point guard position, because who do the point guards have to go up against in the NBA right now, right? You have to go up against the John Morants of the world, right? You have to go up against the James Hardens and the Russell Westbrooks back in the day. You have to very athletic talent there at point guard, and Stefan Castle's bringing it, baby. I'm so excited about him. I wanted Stefan Castle on this team since last December, and I got what I wanted. I'm excited.
I wonder if this kid's going to wind up forcing Pop to give him some run, because you're going to have him versus Trey Jones. I mean, Trey Jones is, again, he's going to do a great job running that second unit. But if you're seeing Stefan Castle, that speed, that athleticism, I mean, you got to give the kid some run at some point, man.
So JHNSB says, I want to see Castle and Wemby playing together, not Trey. That's the thing. Tony Ranella is saying Champagne is going to be the sixth man this year per Mike Jimenez. No, thank you. I'm good. The guy runs cardio out there. Not a big fan. Matt Laraba is saying, did you see Jeff's article about how CP3 says he hates to lose more than he likes to win? That's what I'm talking about. Problem with CP3, though, is that we're not going to get 82 games from him. We're not even going to get 72. We're not going to get 62 games from him. We'll probably get 55, right? He's out there not to win games for this team. He's out there to coach up Stefan Castle and coach up Trey Jones. I think that a lot of Spurs fans thinking that Chris Paul is suddenly going to be some player who's going to be like this magic player who's going to go out there and lead this team to the playoffs and show how to get Wemby going. It's fictional, dude. It's false. It's not going to happen. That's not why he was brought onto this team. He was not brought onto this team to win games. Chris Paul was brought onto this team as a one-year player to coach the young guys.
Yeah.
To get through to Stefan Castle, to get through to Trey Jones, to get through Blake Wesley, and basically show how to run the offense in a different way, how it could be run. No player, Joe, in NBA history has ever played point guard for 20 seasons. And we're going to see that for the first time this year with CP3.
Look at some of the other Spurs fans here in the chat, July 26th, Castle, Victor, Devon, and Mike's favorite Sohan are the future of the team. But here's another thing.
Yeah.
Hi, man. Joining us here on YouTube. Thank you guys for watching. Trey Jones was getting bodied trying to set a pick, man.
He's small.
He is.
He's small compared to the others. Stefan Castle, 6'6". He ain't going to be pushed around 6'6.5". He's still growing. He could be 6'7", 6'8" when it's all said and done.
Mike, CP3 is plant-based now, so he might not be so injury-prone this season. Maybe play 65 games. I'm good with that.
Dude, he is injury-prone just to begin with. The amount of injuries that CP3 has had over the years, a lot of miles on the odometer, dude. Again, no other NBA player in history has ever been a starter or been a point guard, true point guard, for 20 years in the NBA. And here is Chris Paul coming out here. He's 40 years old? I did the math the other day. If you combine the ages of Pop and CP3, it's 115. If you combine the ages of the starting point guard and the head coach of any other team, does it even get close to 100? Does it get close to 90? Does it get close to 80?
Jeez.
I'm going to do that math, Joe. I'm going to do that math because the Spurs aren't serious about winning any games until they get better players out there. We have a better team this year than we did last year. That's for sure. We have Harrison Barnes going out there, and he's going to play his 82 games like he always does, hopefully without injury, and he's going to solidify the 3 position. Hopefully Sohan plays better because he has a better front court to play in. We hope to see Wemby take a leap. We have Stefan Castle. Devon Vassell going to be injured. Again, not going to be reevaluated until the beginning of November. Going to miss the first 4 games at least. Joe, you and I believe that he's going to be out for quite some time.
Yeah.
They haven't said that, but that's just the way that Devon Vassell's body works. He had a surgery on his right foot at the end of last season, did not heal properly. So the Spurs have a lot of positives going on that are net positive compared to last year. Spurs are going to win more games than last year. Spurs probably won't make the play-in or make the playoffs, but it's going to be a better season. CP3, we're going to say bye to him at the end of this year. We're all going to have those nostalgic number 3 CP3 jerseys, right? We're going to have the nostalgic ones. He's going to be gone. Harrison Barnes will stick around for another season or 2. And the Spurs are going to have to make moves. This is the last transition year for the Spurs because, as Jerry Jones put it, all in. The Spurs have to be all in this upcoming season. There's a lot of spinning plates to the season, Joe. First and foremost, Stefan Castle. How good is he? And how good can he be early on?
And look at this comment by Tavarius watching us on YouTube. Team has to move Blake, Trey, or Malachi in order for Castle to get minutes. And
They already did.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how is Coach Pop going to handle this? So you have Trey Jones, right? You have CP3. You have Stefan Castle. If Stefan Castle's going out there and doing a stellar job, he's making a strong case for himself. Coach Pop is going to be forced to play this young man.
One of them was the number 4 overall pick in the draft. Now, Blake and Malachi were first rounders a few years ago, right? So it's like, okay, well, they were first round draft picks, but they were picked at like 25 and like at 20, right? It's different. Yeah. Hey, Renee, welcome back, baby. Rounding up the agents and coaches and players to make a stat. Come on, man. It's a funny stat. It's a funny stat, but it also shows how there's certain things, certain youth movements that haven't happened. Like I said, I don't mind Chris Paul being part of this team because, again, he is a player coach. They need to have a coach that they identify with, and they identify more with CP3 because CP3 is someone who has been in their lives their entire life. Think about it.
Yeah.
If he's been in the league for 20 years and most of the Spurs players are 20 to 24 years old, that means they've never been, as long as they know that they followed the NBA, they've never had an NBA in which Chris Paul III was not part of the NBA, that was not part of an all-star team. So that says a lot. There's a lot of coaching that's going to be going on by Chris Paul III as he transitions out of the NBA as a player, maybe to a coach down the way. We saw Jason Kidd become a head coach. We saw Chauncey Billups.
But Jason Kidd, when
Doc
he first
Rivers
started as a coach in the league, he wasn't all that. He was all right, but he got better as he stayed with it. He honed his craft, and now look at him.
He did, and he got the players that he needed.
Exactly. But he also had good teachers around him, good mentors, and I think that plays an important factor as well.
This is a mentor position. This is not we're going to go out there and ball out position. It's how do we get the best out of Stefan Castle? Chris Paul did this with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander a few years ago.
Yeah, he did.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was traded from the Clippers to Oklahoma City. Second season. SGA, who's one of the 5 best point guards in the NBA.
Candidate.
Played the 2 guard. And that's the thing about Stefan Castle, why he's a good pickup as a player, is that Stefan Castle can play the 1 or the 2.
Yeah.
He played the 2, maybe even a 3 sometimes over at UConn when they won the national championship. But the fact of the matter is that he has always said that he's a 1. He says, man, in high school, I was a point guard. I was asked to play the 2. So it's going to be interesting because did the Spurs draft him to be the 2? Because if that's the case, what's up with Devon Vassell?
Speaking of Devon, look at this comment that came out. I had it on screen by Bear County Social Apparel. He was saying that this morning on 94.1,
Sports Star.
Yep, Dr. Jason Garrett of Veracity says that there's a yellow flag on Devon Vassell. He said that as a basketball player, you never want to have feet issues.
That's true. Feet, high ankle sprains in football, right? High ankle sprains in basketball. They're hard to recover from. And that's what was scary, Joe, is that they were so nonchalant in how they addressed the issue during Spurs Media Day a couple of weeks ago. It was like, oh, yeah, by the way, he had foot surgery. Oh, and by the way, it didn't heal properly. Oh, by the way, he had to get it corrected. And we'll look at this in November.
Look at Midtown, Texas.
Give Champagne his minutes to the Coyote. I'd be okay with that.
God. And Matt Lerma, thank you for joining the show, man. I appreciate your support, and we are supporting Matt Lerma as well, as we are the official sponsors of the Twitter X Spaces. Or
Nice.
should I say the Spurs X Spaces that are going to be happening after games, where fans get to go in there and react to the games.
Yeah.
Either in a positive light, negative light, doesn't matter. We're unbiased. We like the fans to go in there, give them a platform to talk and vent, and we are the official sponsor this season for Matt Lerma's Spurs X Spaces.
Matt Lerma, my man, dude, he's putting in some strong work right there, man. I get excited that I've lost 23 pounds. Matt Lerma has gone to town, dude. Looking good.
Lost 100 pounds already. Keep up the good work, Matt. And he's always working out there, man. I mean, can you imagine? He goes out there and does these Spurs spaces right after every game.
Does a good job.
And he's in there with all the Spurs fans. And sometimes these spaces go on for 2 hours, 3 hours. And they'll go into the wee hours of the morning sometimes, especially after a Spurs loss. But he's still honing his craft at it, man.
That's it, baby. That's it. I'm excited. The Spurs season starts 2 weeks from tomorrow. The regular season starts tonight. The Spurs are playing the Orlando Magic here at the Frost Bank Center. Go frost yourself. Spurs favored by 1.5. If you are into doing the gambling on preseason basketball, degenerates. If you're out there doing basketball preseason bets, you guys are degenerates, man.
Look at this, Christopher Leja. Thank you for joining Chris Leja. He's been busy. He's been working, man.
Yeah.
He's been out there laying that diamond hard concrete out there for the masses. He's in the chat and he's saying, I'm team send Zach Collins to the Shanghai Sharks for a bag of hot fries.
There you go, baby. I'm not a big fan of Zach Collins either.
No,
and the sad thing is his contract begins this week or this month, man. It hasn't even started. Real fast, we talk about the spinning plates, right? So here are the spinning plates that we need to figure out. Wemby's the first spinning plate. How big of a jump does he take this year? Stefan Castle is plate number 2. What happens with Castle? What minutes does he play? How acclimated to the NBA can he be? I think he's ready to go, dude. I think he's revved up. I think he's ready to play 30 minutes, dude. What position is he playing? How good can he be? The third spinning plate that we're going to have out there involves Jeremy Sohan. Can he become better offensively for this team when it comes to shooting the rock? If he takes some improvement, we saw a video of him shooting a 2-handed free throw in practice. If there's some improvement, that is great. Maybe he improves by simply playing with better players, right? You take Champagny out, you put Harrison Barnes in, maybe he improves that way. Fourth spinning plate, Joe?
What is it?
The Atlanta pick.
If it's going to convey or not?
Well, it's going to convey because it's unprotected.
Yeah, but where?
How bad is Atlanta going to be? Because not only as Spurs fans are we going to be watching our team, we're going to be looking over the shoulder. Our Sancha team is whoever plays against Atlanta that given night.
Got the number 1 overall pick, so they let go of DeJounte.
Yeah.
So they're either going to be an all right team.
Wow, they're a bad team.
Or hope that they're a really bad team. So that pick is a high pick for the Spurs.
Trey Young is known to miss 10 to 15 games per season because of a nagging injury. Yeah. There's nothing behind him.
The thing with him is that I think he gets injured because he's just too small, man. Well, but when he's hot, dude. He can shoot the ball.
I think he's asked to do too much.
It's
one of those things he has to kill himself in order for them to actually get some wins.
RG3 style?
Yeah, exactly. But they do have Dominic Barlow. I'm looking at the roster for the Atlanta Hawks right now. Dom Barlow, Bogdan Bojanovic, Clint Capella, Dyson Daniels.
That's throwing salt in the wound.
You know, a lot of
Spurs fans like Dominic Barlow.
Dude, this team is not very good, man. We're going to be looking over our shoulders, hoping Atlanta just drops pants and just sucks the entire season.
Wow, Mike. It's too early in the morning for that, dude.
So we'll be looking at that. By the way, the
Spurs
also have a top 10 protected pick for the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls coaching staff has come out and said, no, we're not tanking this year. We're going to go try to win some games. Spurs also have Charlotte's top 14 protected pick. Probably won't convey. That Chicago won 50-50, but at the very least we got 2. We got ours, we got Atlanta's. At the very least we got 2 in a very, very, very loaded draft. July 26th, I want to see that one.
Which one?
It says Castle has Rookie of the Year and Victor has Defensive Player of the Year, maybe hints of MVP type potential. I agree. Stefan Castle, according to Las Vegas, has the 5th best odds to win Rookie of the Year. For some reason, they have Zach Edey at number 1. I just think that that's ridiculous. But beyond all that, Stefan Castle going to be able to play some minutes because Devon Vassell's hurt. How hurt is Devon Vassell? And Joe, what happens if Stefan Castle goes in there, starts averaging 17, 18 points per game? What if he goes out in there and is a defensive wizard? Because that's what he is.
So,
We talk about how athletic he is, right? Defensively, he is a lockdown defender. When Stefan Castle was drafted, minutes after he was drafted, being interviewed by reporters, they asked him what's the first thing that he wants to do when he gets to the NBA. He says, I want to guard Luka Doncic. I want to see what that's like.
yeah, look at what July 26th is saying. Some truth to this.
Zachary Sarche, or however you say it, is an immediate upgrade over Murray. That'll take years. I feel like he'll have a bad record this year, which is good for us. Yeah, Reece Sarche, number 1 overall pick. Spurs.
Small hands.
Small hands. Yeah, kind of like Kenny Pickett from the
Baby
Steelers
hands.
back in the day. Baby hands. But the fact of the matter is that it's a rebuild year for Atlanta, and we have their number 1 overall pick. So not their their first round draft pick. So Spurs could have 2 first rounders. We're going to have 2 first rounders, potentially both in the lottery, in a loaded lottery. Spurs have a top 10 protected pick from Chicago, top 14 protected from Charlotte. Good things are ahead. Spurs have some cap space. Are we going to do anything with that? Or are we going to just extend our guys? The Spurs need to cut bait with some of this team, dude. What's the laugh on?
You cut bait with some of this team. Look at this, Matt Lerma. Watching, I don't know, how do you say this guy? Tijande Saloon have a good game for the Hornets. Makes me wish you would have took him with our 8th pick.
Yes, Salon was a very good player. That was the one player that I wanted to see the Spurs get at 8. I know everyone was about Dillingham, and I know that me and Matt Lerma were about Salon. French player, that it makes sense that you want to have another French guy around Victor Wembanyama. Looking at the Spurs roster for next year, Joe. And when I say next year, I'm talking about 25-26.
Yeah.
Here are some of the names that drop off. Chris Paul drops off. Do you know who's a free agent at the end of next year?
Who's going to be a free agent?
Trey Jones.
That I kind of knew that.
The Spurs might just cut bait with Trey Jones. Spurs signed him to a 2-year, $20 million deal. And at the time, I said, what, Joe? I said that was a good value pick.
Yeah.
To have Trey Jones' abilities at $10 million makes perfect sense. Chris Paul drops off. Trey Jones drops off. Charles Bassey drops off. The Spurs have player options, team options rather, not player. Player option means that it's a player's choice. The team option means the Spurs decide what they want to do here. The team option number 1 is Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah.
Of course, we're going to keep him. Team option number 2, Jeremy Sohan. Spurs will keep him. $7 million for the 25-26 season. Malachi Branham and Blake Wesley are team options. They're gone. They're gone. They're not good enough. Branham and Wesley were picked up in the first round a few years ago. They're not good enough to be on this team anymore. Branham is a streaky shooter out of Ohio State. I like him. Blake Wesley shows some flashes, but he's always injured. That's the problem. The Spurs also have the ability to cut bait with Julian Champagnie because he's only partially guaranteed after the 25-26 season. Branham, Wesley, Bassey, gone. Trey Jones might be gone. So you add it all up there, I don't know, that's about $25 million. Go get somebody. Go get somebody good.
Do something
alongside Victor Wembanyama. Go do something.
Do something, man. And what if, like everybody's saying here, I know they feel a certain way about Devon Vassell. I do like Devon Vassell as a player, but the thing is that he's always injured. You look back to when the Spurs first drafted him and look at his seasons. He's always injured, always injured, always injured. How well is that going to convey for a Spurs team who is young, trying to go ahead and find their footing? Now they have some veterans in here, and one of your best players on the team is starting the season injured because of a nagging injury. I'm just like,
it doesn't set the tone well. At some point, I think they're going to have to go ahead and maybe part ways.
Well, the only way it'll happen by trade because Devon Vassell has has 5 years left on his
A
deal.
lot of time, I know.
He's with this team until 2029. At that point, just heal up, dude. And if that means that we don't see Devon Vassell till January, and again, there's no indication that the Spurs are giving. Maybe it is a minor thing.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, as you alluded to, and as they were mentioning on San Antonio Sports Star this morning, with one of the doctors from Mirasti, foot injuries suck.
Yeah, you know what? Somebody in here, Tavares is saying Brandon Ingram, Kuzma, MPJ. I saw something comments here that they had talked with Kyle Kuzma, right?
Yeah.
And he was kind of just saying, like, hey, he doesn't mind. It doesn't matter what team he plays for. He knows that he's in the league, right? So he's grateful for that. He goes, being traded is part of the business. At the end of the day, I just look forward to playing basketball. No matter where I'm at, I'm still playing on a team. I'm on an NBA team. He's like, it's a good day.
Yeah, Kyle Kuzma was known to be kind of immature when he first came into the league. Got really into the whole LA lifestyle as far as being a star over there. He was a star on a bad team until LeBron came by, right? But Kuzma has matured, and I wouldn't mind his talent on this team. A lot of people give him crap, but I don't see why. Kuzma's a decent player.
He's serviceable out there. He's decent. He'd be great, I think, with the second unit. Not a starter, but a good solid piece out there with that second unit.
Get some buckets, man. Talking about solid work. Let's give some love to MCS General Contracting because they've been with us since day one. You're wearing the gear, Joe. Yeah. MCS General Contracting with that diamond hard concrete.
MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business. Honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leha over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show.
That's right. That diamond hard concrete brought to you by MCS General Contracting. We're going to have Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and KENS 5 on in a moment. But before we get to that, some bad news for Houston Texans fans. The Houston Texans have lost wide receiver Nico Collins, star wide receiver Nico Collins, for at least 4 games, placed on injured reserve, suffered a hamstring-ish injury while making a 67-yard touchdown reception in the first quarter of Sunday's games against the Bills. The Texans went on to beat the Bills by 3. Collins leads the NFL with 567 yards receiving this year, was on pace for like 1,600, Joe, before the injury. He's out for at least 4 games. That's bad news for the Houston Texans.
Yeah, man. They have a tough schedule ahead of them, and they need Nico Collins because CJ Stroud, what other targets does he have?
Well, he's got Stefan Diggs.
He's all right.
Tank Dell.
But, I mean, Nico actually is your star
receiver.
But
the problem is you now miss Nico Collins as wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
You're also missing running back 1 and Joe Mixon. When is Mixon going to come back? So, bad things ahead for the Houston Texans, but the Texans did something right, though, Joe. They started the season hot at 4-1. They got those wins early on against Jacksonville, against Buffalo, against Chicago and Indy. What do we say? Rack up the wins that you need to get, right? Only loss of the season to Minnesota, who, by the way, is also undefeated. They go on the road this week. They're taking on the New England Patriots. That should be a victory, right? They've got the Colts in a few weeks. That should be a victory. So this 4-game stretch here where they're without a Nico Collins and potentially without a Joe Mixon also includes a road game against the Jets. So if you're going to be missing some players, Joe, what I'm saying is this is the stretch of games that you want to miss some players, okay? Get another 2 or 3 wins. Go from 4-1 to 6-3. Go 7-2. Then be healthy all over again. Not bad, Joe. Not bad.
I'm gonna get Jeff ready to go.
Yeah, Sam Salinas is asking for the Texans a grito for losing Nico Collins. No, man, we got to go one game, one podcast, one show without a grito, man. We're gonna do without it today, Joe.
Yeah, I'm not doing the grito right now, man. But we do got the one and only Jeff Garcia that's going to be joining us here. I'm just going to make sure that we're going to bring him in proper here.
Oh, what are we doing here? What are we doing here?
What are we doing here?
Yeah,
The Godfather
we got him
of
here,
Spurs media.
but I got to do something here because, like I said, I want to make sure that we bring Jeff Garcia here on the show. But I got to get his picture and everything ready for him. So I'm getting that ready right now.
Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs. Follow him on Twitter and
There
on
we
Threads
go.
at Jeff G Spurs Zone.
Now he's ready to be shown on the screen so everybody can see Jeff Garcia's
His beautiful face.
lovely face. There we go.
Oh, good Lord.
There we are. No, I mean, we got
Good
you good
Lord.
though, man. We got you, a really nice picture.
Yeah.
It's not the picture of SpongeBob when he says I'm cool and he has high water pants on and his butt teeth are coming out.
Nothing
Oh,
like that.
Matt Larimer's asking for the intro song.
Okay, well, we got to do the intro song. We got to do it.
Yeah.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, 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 money.
Dollar, dollar. Dollar, dollar. Ching, ching, bling, bling. With the cheddar.
I know Jeff hates that, dude.
Dude, I dubbed him Moneybags back in the day.
Yep.
It is a nickname that has stood the test of time. Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and KENS 5. How you doing today, my man?
Doing good, buddy. What's up, man?
Dude, I'm having an amazing time, dude. We're talking about the Spurs taking on
Mhm.
Orlando at the Frost Bank Center today. Second
Yep.
preseason game. Jeff, are we going to see some of the stars? Because we were without Wemby and CP3 in the first game. Can we see some stars out there today?
Honestly, your wish will be granted. Spurs did announce that Wemby and Chris Paul were not on the injured list, so that means they're going to get some burn. How much remains to be seen. I don't expect a lot of burn from them. I just want to see them connect on an alley-oop pass just one time. Just let me see it. Just let me see a CP3 to Wemby lob pass, and we're good to go. But yeah, that's probably the biggest storyline tonight. Is Chris Paul's Spurs debut, Wemby returning to the court. See how they mesh together. One thing that is concerning for me is another game without Zach Collins and Vassell. Now, that could just be the Spurs being the Spurs, when it comes to player health. But we know Collins does have a history of injuries, so should we be twiddling our thumbs and asking, what's going on here? But other than that, one thing I would like to see, though, is in game one, we saw Castle play off the ball a lot. Maybe he had a little touch here and there with the point guard spot. I say let him. What do you got to lose? Just throw him out there at the PG spot. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah. I would love to see point guard Stefan Castle out there because we don't know what he does. He played off guard at UConn. You mentioned Zach Collins. I'd be okay with Zach Collins missing today's game. In fact, I'd be happy with him missing all 82 games. I am not a Zach Collins guy. Give me some Mamu, please. But Stefan Castle, that dunk that electrified the Frost Bank Center and make Keldon Johnson fall backwards a little bit. What were your thoughts when you saw that? What were your thoughts when you saw the athleticism of Stefan Castle in the limited time he played out there against the Thunder?
My first thought was, wow, the frost got loud. That was my first thought. Like, whoa, it just erupted. And it was good to see, the kid showing a lot of fearlessness. And that's what I like about it. Popovich, after the game, used one of his, patented phrases, tough nut. So he called Steph Castle a tough nut. But yeah, just show that fearlessness and go at the rim and dunk it. He came down kind of awkwardly. I got a little nervous when I saw him, when he fell, but he's all right. He's still a kid. Bouncing back really good. But look, how, I guess it's a good thing, Joe. What do you think? He's able to play multiple positions.
Yeah.
So that's good. And I like that about it. But for tonight, just let me see him run PG. I just want to see it.
So Spurs fans got really excited about Riley Minix after
Oh,
one
they
preseason game. It's kind of like our version of Hard Knocks, right? The Spurs version of Hard Knocks. You fall in love with this one player who's probably not going to make the team, but you're all rooting for him to get that last spot on the roster. Riley Minix, man, what did you see out of him that you liked?
Hey, Spurs need a shooting big, right? Well, there it is. There it is. I like the fact that he probably won't, but at least he'll give Mamu some run in training camp, preseason. get him, focused right. I hate to say it. Either he's going to Austin or he might be in the team when they have to do waivers or cuts later on. So I think he could be a casualty. I think the other kid, Boston, could be a casualty as well. One guy that kind of caught my eye was Malachi Flynn. That kind of caught my eye. I was like, wait a minute, this guy likes to shoot and he makes them. Well, it is just one game. We'll see if that'll continue. But as far as Minix is concerned, I think he's going to be a good NBA player. Whether that's with the Spurs or not remains to be seen. But I just fear it's just a casualty of numbers. Yeah. Mamu's ahead of him. Sohan's there. Zach Collins is there. Just like bigs at his position. They're there. Bassie hasn't even come back yet to the court. So it could be a numbers game. But, I'm on the Spurs. I'm stashing them in Austin. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, Malachi Flynn, who was a first-round draft pick in the 2020 draft out of the Toronto Raptors, played for 3 teams last year, Toronto, the New York Knicks, and Detroit Pistons. We mentioned Riley Minix from Morehead State. He's a rookie, but he's a rookie who's turning 25 next month. So he's older than half the team.
I spoke to Mamu after preseason game 1, just his overall thoughts about the rookies, not necessarily Castle and Ingram. But he mentioned Riley Minix. He said he came in and did what he does best, and that's just knocking down those shots. So he caught Mamu's eye. That's good. As a matter of fact, Mamu told me, quote, Minix was great. He came in and did what he had to do. So, yeah. Another thing, too, what I took away from at least game 1, and I get it, it's just one preseason game versus the OKC team not at their peak power yet. But is just how good the defense can be. So Sohan is going to play in his natural position. That's good. Even that Eric. Steph Castle played some pretty good defense versus OKC. Wemby didn't play, so Wemby gets back in there. Devon is an adequate defender. So I think this team could be a very good defensive team once the ball gets going for real when the regular season starts.
Talking to Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and KENS 5. I was mentioning earlier in the show, Jeff, that there's a lot of spinning plates for the Spurs this year. One of the ones was Wemby. How much of a leap is he going to make? One of them is Stefan Castle. How good will he be early on? We were talking about Devon Vassell. Can he get back onto the court, or is this going to be a lingering injury? What happens if Castle balls out early on? How does that affect Devon Vassell on this team? As far as position is concerned, lots of spinning plates from it. What do you think is the one or two storylines that's going to dominate Spurs play the first, say, 4 to 5 weeks of the season?
Oh, I think the big one is CP3's integration. He says he doesn't want to be a coach, but could have fooled me in preseason game 1. He was coaching. He was coaching the guys on the bench. He was pulling guys off to the side, talking to them. So I think that's going to be the big storyline, how he meshes. We all know historically, every team he goes to has a big spike in winning percentage. Will that happen for the Spurs? I don't know. I mean, Vegas still has them hovering around 35 games, I believe, unless Mike that's changed.
Right.
Since. But is that really winning basketball? He told me when he was introduced to the San Antonio public at his conference that he hates to lose. He hates to lose. But it looks like there might be a lot more losing maybe in his tenure with the Spurs. And here's the thing too, another storyline too is, will Vassell stay healthy and prove himself to be the number 2 next to number 1 Wemby?
That's one question I had for you, Jeff. We were talking about Devon Vassell and his injuries, right? So Devon Vassell has been injured every single season he's played with the San Antonio Spurs. He's arguably your second best player that you have out there on the court next to one, Victor Wembanyama. If he can't stay healthy, and he's going into what season now? What is this, season 4?
4, yeah.
Durability has to come up at some point. Even though, Pop loves him some Devon Vassell. I like Devon Vassell too as a player, but at times I see what everybody else in the chat sees as well. At times he reverts back to being selfish. He wants to go ahead and get his points. He wants to go ahead and just take these shots. The shot selection that he has is just not very good, when it comes to it. And you see Victor Wembanyama out there in, inside the paint, and Devon Vassell at times will just go out and just shoot an ill-advised three,
Mhm.
and I'm just like, why are you doing that when you could have passed the ball to Victor Wembanyama, who's inside the paint, and would have had an easy two, maybe a 2 and 1, but I don't know, man. I still have some questions about Devon Vassell moving forward. But, again, it's durability, man. I mean, at what point do you, as a San Antonio Spurs front office, look at this and question that and look at the future that he has here with the team? I mean, he can't be easily traded because he's still owed quite a bit of money on his contract. So the Spurs have a conundrum, so to speak, in one Devon Vassell. When he's healthy, I mean, he can be a heck of a player, but I still think he needs time to mesh well with Wemby. I mean, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think he has the potential to be that number 2. Look at the way he closed out last season. In the last 2 months of the regular season, last season, he averaged 20-plus points per game and was getting it done pretty much all over the court until he got hit with that injury. So he has the potential there if he stays healthy. That's the big key. And look, Jimenez, if the Spurs were really sold on him being number 2 guy, then why were they reportedly chasing Laurie Markkinen? Why are they reportedly chasing Trey Young? Or the guy, the point guard out of Cleveland, I forgot his name. But
Donovan Mitchell.
Donovan Mitchell was another one, yeah. So if he really is at number 2, then why, at least reportedly, we don't know, they were chasing another star to bring in. So that tells you a lot of perhaps what they may think about Devon. But no, I think Devon needs to show that he can stay. Look, I don't expect him to play 82 games. I mean, in today's era of the NBA, that's almost an anomaly, unless your name is Harrison Barnes. But, at least give me 70, at least 75. Can we go with 75?
I'd be happy with 70, 72. I mean, missed 10 or 12 games, a couple of them because of rest on back-to-backs or 3 out of 4 games, three out of 4 days, 3 games, 4 nights rather. But you look at it, he has played 239 games in 4 seasons. That's an average of just under 60. Right, he had one season where he only played 38 games. Devon Vassell, when he's out there, though, is a good player. He's a very good player. To me, and I've mentioned this to you, Jeff, on Locked On Spurs, he's an ideal 3rd guy. He's not the number 2. He's not. Because the number 2 that you needs to be an all-star, and Devon Vassell will never be an all-star. He's going to have a fantastic career. He's going to average 17, 18, 19 points per game for this team or another team that he's on. He's going to have a fantastic career, not an all-star. So for you to have to be the Robin to Wemby's Batman, you need to be an all-star or all-star caliber.
Well,
he's not it.
Well, in order to prove that, he needs to stay healthy. So step 1, stay healthy. And then step 2, show out on the court. And then step 3, hopefully you'll get enough attention to get an all-star nod. But, he's still away from that level. But I think he can reach it. I really believe that. He just needs to stay on that court. He admitted it himself. He said to close last season that staying healthy, playing close to a full season is one of his to-do items heading into the new season. So we'll see if he can do it.
I love Devon Vassell. I love Devon Vassell. I don't like Devon Vassell slander. Like him as a player, like him as a person. Love Devon Vassell on this team. He was the guy that I wanted that year out of Florida State. That's the guy I wanted. James Pledger and I were all about Devon Vassell when he played at Florida State.
Yeah,
he's not an all-star.
Yeah.
He's not even close. He'll never be.
What are you saying?
Personal
He's all right?
No, he's good. He's a very good player.
Yeah, he's a very good. Yeah,
he's a 37% three-point shooter from 3 for his career. He's increased his points per game every single season from 5.5 to 12 to 18.5 to 19.5. I believe he probably maxes out. I think his max out is 21. And he's a good player. He's a very good player. But I don't see him ever being the guy getting you 24 points per game, 24, 6 and 6, giving you DeMar DeRozan type all-star numbers from back in the day. I don't see that, man. I just don't. He's an ideal number 3 guy. You need to have that star number 2, whether that would have been a Lauri Markkinen or somebody else like that. The Spurs have a lot of things to go on this year. This is a pivotal year for the Spurs. I'm going to say between now and June, the next 8 months are going to determine what the Spurs are going to do for the next decade.
Well, it's a big reason why they brought in those veterans to help them push to that direction.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
that's on the court. Off the court, it's what's Brian Wright going to do with this draft capital? What's going to happen with that Atlanta pick? Because I'm looking at tankathon.com right now with the projections. You mentioned earlier, Jeff, that the Spurs are projected to have 35.5 wins, right?
Yeah.
According to tankathon.com, the Spurs are going to have the number 9 and 10 pick in the draft. They believe the Spurs will have the 9th worst record in the league. They believe Atlanta will have the 10th worst record in the league. And if all things held to form, Spurs will be drafting number 9 and 10, according to Tankathon. They believe that Brooklyn, Washington, Detroit, and Utah are the 4 worst teams in basketball. They believe that Charlotte's pick will not convey because they have Charlotte as the 5th worst team in the league. Spurs have a top 14 protected pick of theirs. And then they believe Chicago's the 7th worst team. Spurs have a top 10 protected pick of theirs. So Spurs, we know, are going to have 2 lottery picks more than likely. It's whether we can pick up a 3rd or 4th pick along the way is what we're trying to determine there.
And look at this. Sam Salinas is saying, Tony, he agrees with Tony, saying that all this Vassell trashing while loving on Sohan is no bueno. Mike does not love on Sohan.
and you know what, too? It's not just on your show, Joe and Mike. It's also the Locked On Spurs YouTube page. Today's Locked On Spurs, we're going to be diving into it. Spurs fans are getting really spicy on the YouTube page there. They're calling for the Spurs to trade Vassell already. And I'm like, where did this come from? It was out of nowhere. Locked On Spurs fans are saying, get rid of him. So we're going to be talking about that on today's episode with James Pledge.
Yeah, I think at times it's his selfish play.
July 26th, by the way, has a really, really good post here. It says, Sohan does the little things you don't see on the box score, sort of like Draymond Green.
That's true. That's what I've been saying.
And here's the thing, though. The play of a Draymond Green only works if you have a Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and a Kevin Durant type of players in there. Draymond Green, if he played for the Utah Jazz, if he played for the Denver Nuggets, if he played for the Orlando Magic, would be nobody. That type of play requires you to play with other stars. Doing the little things means that you don't have to do the big things. So Jeremy Sohan is going to be better this year because he has a better roster around him. So any leap that he takes is going to be half because he worked hard at it, and it's going to be half because he has better players. Harrison Barnes is going to make Sohan a better player. I think not only on the court, but off the court, and be able to mentor him the same way that CP3 is mentoring Castle and Trey Jones. So I believe that Sohan's going to have improvement this year. But part of that improvement is going to be because he's playing with better players. And if the Spurs start adding better players to the roster, he's going to get even better because those little thing guys only work on good teams.
And look at this. JHNSB says, where's our Klay and Kevin? I don't see him. And Tavares just keeps on saying, he says, we need bucket getters. Sohan ain't it.
Yeah, Spurs are still formulating what's going to be, right? What's going to be. I'm glass half full, but it's not like overflowing. Okay, I'm like 52% full when it comes to the Spurs and the direction that they're going. But Atlanta, that pick goes into the top 5 in a loaded draft. Be all about it, baby. It'd be all about it.
Yeah. I got to ask you, Jeff, because I know our time is starting to come to an end. You got to hard out because you got to go ahead and record a new episode of Los.
Yeah.
So I want to go ahead and start moving away from the Spurs talk a little bit. Even though I know Spurs fans want to keep talking Spurs with you, Jeff, you can go ahead and look at Jeff's other podcast, the Locked On Spurs podcast on YouTube. You can watch the replay. Good friend of the show, James Pledger, is going to be on there, always bringing the heat. It's going to be a good one. Go make sure you can go and check that out. But you also have something else that's big.
Oh, yeah.
It's Texas big. And it's,
I see what you did, Joe. I see what you did.
It's the big Texas Comic-Con. And yes, our very own Jeff Garcia will be moderating some panels over at the Big Texas Comic-Con. Jeff, tell us a little bit about the Big Texas Comic-Con, because I will be there on Saturday. I got the whole day off there. So I'll be there for quite some time. Looking forward to hopefully seeing you real quick, because I know you're going to be a busy guy, and hopefully going to check out some of the panels. But let us know, what's the docket like on Saturday?
Ooh, it is packed. Yeah, this is my 3rd year hosting the event / I guess ambassador for the Big Texas Con. It's going to be huge. It's San Antonio's big summer Comic Con. This is the big one. You know how like New York has the New York Comic Con, San Diego Comic Con. This is San Antonio. This is the big one. And it starts, as Joe mentioned, on a Friday night. And what a way to kick things off. My first interview is going to be with Ralph Macchio,
Nice.
William Zabka, Cholo Maridueña, the whole cast of Cobra Kai. That is my first panel. That kicks it off on Friday night. And then it ends up with a chat with an adult animated voice actors of the Has Been Hotel. So it's going to be a great night, Joe. You talk about Saturday. Saturday is jam packed. I mean, if you're going to go to panels, it is that day. It starts off with Demon Slayer. You got Sons of Anarchy. You have the voice actors of Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker, and Ahsoka Tano. Wraps up the night with the Mayans MC. Even San Antonio's very own Emilio Rivera, who plays one of the leads in Mayans MC and in Sons of Anarchy, will be there. And then it wraps up Sunday with the costume contest, the Goonies reunion, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reunion, the 1990 movie, so much more. It's going to be great. I'm excited. When I got my rundown, and by the way, everybody, I'm hosting 99.9% of every single panel you see on your brochures there, except for Lord of the Rings. I am not doing the Lord of the Rings one. That's going to be my break. So I'm going to have a break at 4
That's going to be
o'clock.
my favorite one right there. I want to.
Yeah.
I'm a big Lord of the Rings buff here. You know. But,
yeah. Joe, I just couldn't. It was either my break was going to be at 3 or 4, and 3 o'clock was the voice actors of Star Wars. I ain't going to pass that up.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
You know, but we also had some news that broke yesterday for Big Texas Comic Con. Fan favorite here. You know, voice of Lord of the Rings here. You know, his Treebeard and Gimli and all that.
John Rhys Davis.
Yeah,
Davies?
man.
Yeah.
He's not gonna be able to make it. He announced that yesterday. I know some of the fans are disappointed, but I mean he's gonna be with a friend of his, an old time friend of his who's in poor health right now. So I think he did the right thing, staying where he's at and staying with this friend, because you never know how much time is left, you know. So he wants to spend as much time as he can with his dear friend. So wishing him the best. Thoughts and prayers are with him. I know, being a Lord of the Rings fan, I'm going to miss him, you know, because I was looking forward to maybe seeing him there. So, maybe hopefully next time. He even said, hey, he's up for it next time, and they're going to do it again next year. Invite him, you know?
Well, here's the thing, too. I mean, you're still going to get a bang-up panel. You got Frodo Baggins, still there. Samwise is going to be there. Sean Astin. I wish Sean Astin was going to be part of the Goonies panel. He's not.
Yeah.
He could do both.
He could do both. We kicked things off Friday. We had a contest winner already. They got a free ticket from me for Friday night only. I might have an extra one that I might surprise everybody with. Nobody's claimed it yet, so I'm going to repost that
Mike?
later on.
Maybe Mike?
I don't know. Mike, I think Mike is okay with the Geek World, but I don't think he's involved like you and me, Joe.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man.
I don't know. You don't show your inner nerd as much
His
as I do.
daughter is really big into anime and all that.
Yeah, so the other...
Oh, that is true. Yeah, that is right. Yeah. Real quick, before I got to go, Mike, I don't mean to cut you off there. Yeah. But tomorrow, I'm actually also hosting the San Antonio Mexican American Science Film Festival. There we go. Is going to be on the west side at Jaime's place. And this film festival obviously is based on science fiction, but the directors are Mexican American heritage. So you're going to get to see Mexican American science fiction short films.
Nice.
And it's called Raza Cosmica, and it starts tomorrow. I'll be emceeing that and the Q&A panel, then transition to Big Texas. So yeah, it's exciting. You know what? I was fine, Mike.
Yeah.
Until the organizers got a hold of me. They said, "Are you ready for Friday night? Here's your schedule." And I looked at it and I saw Cobra Kai was going first. I went, "Oh my goodness!" And I saw Ralph Macchio. I went, "What?" I think I'm going to stumble because I grew up watching him, you know, back in the '80s. You know,
right.
And it's not just Karate Kid and all the sequels. It was all the other ones. It was The Outsiders. My cousin Vinny, The Outsiders. You know, so
he was great. He was Pony Boy, right?
Yeah, he was Pony Boy. Yeah.
Very nice. Stay golden, Jeff Garcia.
Yeah.
Stay golden. As you can follow him at Locked On Spurs. Subscribe on Spotify, YouTube. Where else can we find Locked On Spurs?
Oh man, KENS Plus app, iTunes, Spotify, as you mentioned, so much more. Hey, real quick, Joe.
Yeah.
You said you're going there Saturday?
Going there Saturday. I'm going to be there with one of my best friends, Jonas Clark. He's going to be there in tow with
Jonas,
me.
yeah.
And I'm
I know
taking
Jonas.
my youngest son with me because he's big into, anime and art. He's an artist, and that's what he's
Yeah.
basically going to college for. He's going to be going to get his degree in animation. So hopefully, he'll be working for some big movie studio or
hopefully,
Disney or something. That's the plan for him. But I mean, he's big into this kind of scene, Jeff.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be in room 214 for the bulk of every single day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Now, Jeff,
Yeah.
while you're doing all
Go
the
ahead.
Comic-Con stuff, and you're doing all the panels and whatnot, I will be in Houston watching a Boys to Men concert.
Oh,
I gotta know,
God.
what is your favorite Boys to Men song?
Oh my goodness. Hmm.
And did you ever do the deep voice for any of the
No,
songs?
I never did the deep voice. I never did the deep. What did you?
Of course, baby. Please forgive me for all the wrong I've done. Please forgive me. Mm-hmm. Gonna
I
get
think, man, Motown Philly is a good one.
there. You go.
Yeah.
I like On Bended Knee. That's a good one.
Yeah.
On Bended Knee. Yeah. What about
Water Runs Dry is a good one.
Did they did a duet with Mariah Carey, right? One Sweet Day, right?
Yes, One Sweet Day.
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
Yeah.
One Sweet Day was released back in '96. Was the #1 song the day the Cowboys last won a Super Bowl. True story.
Wow.
It has been that
End
long.
of the road. Who can forget that? Mexican Junior just put.
End of the road. Mm-hmm. Good song.
Hey, real quick, Joe. You're not gonna be there for Sunday for the Mutant Ninja Turtle reunion?
No, I'm not going to be there Sunday. I'm going to be
Man,
there.
man,
only
that's the big one, man.
Yeah, I'm only going to be there on Saturday. That's all the time I could afford for that particular day. I have other things that I got to do on Sunday. Unfortunately, I got some side gigs that I got to take care of there. I do have a 3-day weekend coming up, so I'm probably going to be working. I'll finish working on Sunday, probably around six-ish, somewhere around there, and then I'll be free after that. So, hey, if you're not doing anything on Sunday evening, maybe we can meet up at Don Pedro's or something for some dinner.
Man, I'll be gassed out. I'll try
Yeah.
though. I'll try, man, because Sunday, as you mentioned, Goonies is there. It's funny. I'm going to be hosting the Blues Clues panel. I have no idea what I'm going to be talking about. I have no idea what I'm going to be talking about, but I'll figure something out. You know what I try to do is they allot. So, for example, Lord of the Rings or whatever. Whatever. Sons of Anarchy. Before they come up, like their press handlers, people will come up to me and they'll say, "Hey, can you try to get it done?" And even though they're allotted an hour, okay, you get it done in 40 minutes. So all I keep on thinking is, okay, all I gotta do is just get them going for 20 minutes and then open up the 20 minutes for the fans. And then that's all I gotta do. So the whole time I'm up on stage with them, I'm thinking is, how can I get these guys to talk for 20 minutes where I can do minimal questions? Because I gotta get them out quick.
Yeah.
Why? Because they got to go back. They got to go back to their tables to make money. That's where they make their money.
You know what I find out?
Photos.
I found, Jeff, like when we interview some celebrities here on our show as well,
Mhm.
is that when you interview the celebrities, they like it when you kind of humanize them and you ask them about themselves. Like,
Mhm.
hey, you get to know them a little bit more. Then, of course, you incorporate some of their accolades and what they're famous for. But I
Mhm.
found that's pretty good as far as an icebreaker goes, kind of just
Mhm.
calming them down and letting them talk about themselves and, get to know them a little bit more. Maybe they might give you some nuggets there that the fans never knew about,
Well, I already have one question I'm going to ask
Yeah.
to William Zabka. Like with Ralph Macchio, his character Danielson, they gave him a signature move, which was the swan kick or the crane kick. Remember? I'm asking, how come you never got a signature move? Maybe see if that'll get him going. See if that'll get him going.
I've met him before, and I've also met the guy who plays his sensei, that actor. They were here years ago, and I met them
that's
both.
right. I remember that. Yeah.
And Zabaka, that guy is just a very nice guy, man. Like, he's just chill. Like, you can just go and talk to him, and you can just be having a conversation with him, and he's just giving you his time. He's like into it. Like, he's talking with you as like he's known you for a while. I mean, the guy's he's a really good guy, man. I enjoyed speaking with him.
And heads up to anybody with kids going on Friday night and are wanting to go see the Has Been Hotel. panel, just a heads up, that's probably not going to be for kids. For those who don't know, Has-Been Hotel is an Amazon Prime adult animated series. And when I say adult, I'm being nice. It's pretty much borderline raunchy. So, so just a heads up, because I'm pretty sure there are going to be questions revolving around the raunchiness of the show. A lot of adult situations. Again, I'm being nice. If those of y'all have never seen Has-Been Hotel, you know what I'm talking about. It's some really freaky stuff that goes in that animated show. Again,
Can't
it's
be
an
any
adult
worse than The
animated.
Boys.
Yeah.
Oh, it's up there. It's up. No, it's not as worse as The Boys, where somebody's
Wow.
entering somebody's penis. And
Yeah,
one of
man,
the things.
it's-
Yeah. But no, it's like right up there though. It's not The Boys level, but it's definitely. And you watch the show, it comes off as it's being for kids because they're very like looking friendly. But let's just put it this way, Jimenez, I know you've probably never seen it. Joe, I don't know if you've seen it, but the setting is hell. So that should tell you enough already. The
Yeah.
setting is hell.
Real fast,
So-
Mexican Gers wanting you to ask Billy Zapka about his role in Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah, I got to remember that. Yeah, I'm trying to take my notes down. I usually do like the day before. So like on Friday, Thursday, I'll get ready for Friday. Friday, I get ready for Saturday. So
Correct me if I'm wrong. Not only Rodney Dangerfield, but Robert Downey Jr. was also
Yeah.
in that movie.
yeah, he was. Yeah. He was also in one of the guys, just one of the guys, I think. He played the love
Really?
interest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in just one of the guys, yeah. And then kind of went quiet for a long time and then resurfaced. And everybody forgets Cobra Kai started out as a YouTube show. It was not a Netflix show. It started out as a YouTube show.
Really?
Back when when it was YouTube. Well, YouTube used to have like series,
Mm-hmm.
like premium series, and Cobra Kai's got to start there on
Yep.
YouTube, and then Netflix grabbed him and took him to Netflix.
Hey, I was going to ask you, Jeff, because I know like I said, we're pressed
Yeah.
for time here. Before we go ahead and let you go, let everybody know where, one, they can follow you on the X, and two,
Mm-hmm.
give us a little tease of what's happening for today's Los.
Oh yeah, today's low's gonna be good. We're gonna be looking at tonight's game, Spurs Magic, and then really go into Locked On Spurs fans just going off, man. Seriously, they want. I'm not kidding. One fan wanted to get the whole team already,
Oh,
based
man.
off of one preseason game. So we get into that, and then we got some articles up. Yesterday, I posted my interview with Mamu about the rookies. It's up there at KENSFi.com/Spurs. Go to the Locked On Spurs YouTube page. Just go on YouTube, search Locked On Spurs, and then follow me on X at Jeff G Spurs Zone. But I gotta go, guys. I got a recording session for tomorrow's guest. Is going to be Casey Vieira.
Nice.
So we're going to be So Casey's joining me for tomorrow's show.
Tell
We gotta
Casey I
get it
said what's
done.
up.
I will, buddy. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll talk to you
All right,
later.
man.
All
Take
right,
care.
Jeff. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
That's Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and KENS 5. Again, at Jeff G Spurs Zone. Joe, let's give me some love, my man. Let's throw my number out there.
All right, let's go ahead and do that.
210-508-0369. That is my phone number, 210-508-0369. If you have any questions about investments or insurances, I'm your guy for that. I've been doing this for 19 years, talking about anything from life insurance, disability insurance, long-term care. I manage now, Joe, $15.6 million in retirement assets. Dude, earlier this year was at 12. Now it's at 15.6, raking in those dollars, investing people's money, hopefully making them money as along the way. Market's been going pretty hot these days. So again, if you have old 401ks, an IRA, you have an advisor you don't like anymore, you want to work with me when it comes to your retirement planning, give me a call, 210-508-0369. If you go to brokercheck.org and look up Michael Jimenez in San Antonio, you're going to see that I have zero disclaimers, zero disclosures, which means not one client bad review, not one client complaint, not one arrest or anything like that involving my own finances or my own personal life. Again, 210-508-0369. I'm a fiduciary. Everything I say and do needs to be in the client's best interest. Joe, if you can show my screen real fast. This was a scene last night this morning in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Nice.
Courtesy of TMZ. Look what happened to the Tropicana Hotel, the famed Tropicana Hotel that had performances back in the day from Louis Armstrong to Frank Sinatra, the Rat Pack and all that. The Tropicana is no more. They celebrated its destruction, its implosion last night with a fireworks display. It's beautiful, man. Also for an advertisement for the Oakland A's, which I thought was kind of tacky, but there it is. The pomp and circumstance of the Tropicana. I stayed there back about 12 years ago. Gonna be honest with you, it was kind of torn down, man.
Yeah, man. This is like the older part of Vegas. You know, this is like when you think of Vegas, the Tropicana or Tropicana is what you thought about. Iconic because it came out in a lot of movies as well.
There it goes.
Down it goes, man.
Right across the street from MGM Grand in New York, and Mandalay Bay. It's that street intersection there. Both towers crumbled to the ground, all within a matter of seconds, and illuminated up in the sky. A big thank you to the Tropicana for the decades of memories that are there. Their valleys, and oh, by the way, here come the Oakland A's. Got to make some room.
So this is where they're going to build the stadium then?
I have no idea.
Like what's going to be built here now?
It's some prime real estate, though, that's for sure.
No doubt.
But it's a beautiful thing that they did over there. But they're all gone, man. Stardust is gone. Frontier is gone.
All the old G's, man.
That sucks. Some of those places were nice, man. Don't get me wrong. I like going to Vidara, and I like going to, you know, all the new places that are down there by the Cosmo. But man, the Monte Carlo, which is no longer there anymore, was dude, the Mirage is no longer there. Old Vegas is basically gone. What's left from Old Vegas? Caesar's Palace and Circus. Everything else is pretty new. Flamingo is still there. Harrah's is still there. But 80% of Old Vegas is gone. It's crazy. It sucks.
He says, Pledge is in the house. Pledger was here.
Oh, what's up, Pledge? What do you say?
He says, Mike, thanks, Jeff. Now let's talk about me. Because he's going to be on today's Locked On Spurs. So make sure you go and check that out. And you can see our dear friend here, James Pledger.
James Pledger, my man. I need to reach out to Pledge. I haven't seen Pledge in a couple of months, man.
I just hung out with him on Sunday. It was a good time.
Dude, I was stranded in Houston, baby.
Oh, yeah. We were making fun of you, too. We're laughing.
The tire blew the freak out, man.
We saw the video he sent you.
Yeah, I did.
He was laughing.
Everyone's saying that my girlfriend was the one changing the tire. That did not happen. But, man, to have a tire blow out at 80 miles an hour sucks. I thought for sure I was going to, like, fall off the bridge or something, but no, I just happened to be at the exit, and I just went down the hill and on three wheels made it a mile down the street to the tire shop.
I don't know. You might have hit something, or that tire just might have just not been good.
The tire was 60,000 miles old.
Yeah, you need to replace it, man.
Yeah, it was at its life expectancy, if you will.
It just gave out.
But Pledger, we need to have Pledger on the show.
Oh yeah, we're talking about that. He's gonna go ahead and try to get some free time here because he's a busy guy, you know. So we're trying to go ahead and get things to line up and bring him out on the show.
Yeah, I know Pledger is a big fan of baseball. I know the Astros are out. Rangers didn't make the playoffs. But that Dodgers-Padres series, that Padre-Dodgers series is insane, man. Those two teams hate each other. And the Padres go up 2-1 after last night's victory. I believe it was 6-5, if I'm not mistaken. It was a great game. I saw about half the game yesterday. And all I could see was that these teams hated each other. Padres taking on the Dodgers tonight. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the best 3 out of 5, if I'm not mistaken. They can knock out the Dodgers.
Yeah, man. I mean,
FS1 at 8:08 p.m. We have at the early game today. You have the Guardians taking on the Tigers. It's game 3 of that series, tied at a game apiece. This game is going to be played in Detroit with a 2:08 first pitch on TBS. On FS1 at 4 o'clock, you've got the Mets hosting the Phillies. That series, Mets are leading 2-1. Yankees and Royals. The Royals stealing a game there in Yankee Stadium. Going back to KC, tied at a game apiece. Give me KC in this game, baby. Give me some KC. I want to see the underdogs come through. I want to see the Padres beat the Dodgers. I want to see the Royals beat the Yankees because I don't like the big market teams, man. I'm biased.
Yeah.
I'm biased. But the venom between the Padres, dude, the Padres, one of the players yesterday was threatening one of the Dodgers players, said, hey, you want to take this outside the stadium? See what happens.
Like that girl from years ago. Is it Catch Me Outside?
Catch me outside. Did you see that a couple of games ago? Did you see the Padres outfielder rob a home run and pretended like it went over the fence?
Oh,
And the runner thinks that it's a home run, and then he came back copying like, "Haha, I got you. I actually had the ball the entire time." So great. So great. Those two teams hate each other. The Padres refuse to sell tickets to anybody in Los Angeles. They set it up where you had to be in a preferred zip code in order to get tickets.
Yeah, man. And you know what? I'm going to share this too, because you can see the docket of what's happening for today's games.
Yeah.
So you have the Cleveland Guardians, I guess that's what they're calling themselves now, going up against the Detroit Tigers. That series is tied 1 apiece. I got to say, I watched this game. And this second game was really good that they had when the series got tied up. It was like 0-0.
Yeah.
Going into like the 8th inning already. 0-0, 0-0. Man, Detroit, they just hit a home run, dude.
Mm-hmm. Boom.
And the pitchers had been great for the Guardians, right? The whole game. But the Detroit Tigers, man, this one guy, I forgot his name, that they had at bat, just knocked it out the park, man.
Yep.
And just brought him home. 3-run home run, dude.
Done,
dude. That was it. That's all she wrote. And that just goes to show you how good the pitching was for both teams. I mean, it was a defensive stance until that 9th inning, you know? Boom. That's all she wrote. But you got an early game today. There's going to be the Guardians and the Tigers starting at 3:08 p.m. I got to tell you, if you guys do not know where to watch these games, they're right there. TBS, FS1, TBS, and FS1.
These might be Eastern time zones, so they're 208.
Eastern time zones. But the thing is like the games that are shown on TBS, for example, Guardians and the Tigers, New York and Kansas City. These games, you can watch them if you subscribe to the Max, which used to be HBO Max, and now it's the Max. If you go on the app and you go to Bleacher Report, you know, it says Bleacher Report games. I guess they have some type of contract with them. Anything that's televised as far as sports goes, like on TBS or TNT or TBS, I believe even on USA Network and all that during the college basketball, you can watch these games on the Max for free. It's already included in your subscription.
That's awesome. Chris Gonzalez on our YouTube stream, combining 2 topics from the last half hour, saying combining Boys to Men with what happened in Las Vegas, saying it's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
For the
Tropicana. You know what? That might deserve a grito, but we're not going to do it today. ESPN released their top 10 power rankings for the NFL. Kansas City Chiefs at number 1, Minnesota Vikings at number 2. The only 2 teams in the NFL that are undefeated. The Texans at 4-1, but Nico Collins, who leads the league in receiving yards, is out for at least 4 weeks, placed on injured reserve because of a hamstring injury. They have the Lions at number 4. Who do the Lions play this week? Cowboys. Jerry World, big game this weekend. Lions, number 4 in the power rankings. Number 5, the Baltimore Ravens. Started the season off 0-2, won 3 games in a row, turned things around against the Cowboys. They've been on fire ever since then, taking out Buffalo along the way. Number 6, Buffalo Bills dropping 3 spots from 3 to 6 after losing to the Texans 23-20. The Washington Commanders keep their march up the power rankings. According to ESPN, the 7th best team in the NFL. Lead the NFC East with a 4-1 record, moving up from 10 to 7. Jaden Daniels, not only a fantasy surprise, but Jaden Daniels might be the first rookie to ever win the MVP award. Joe, if Jaden Daniels goes 13-4 for that team, he's going to get consideration. If Brock Purdy got consideration back in the day, he's going to get consideration. Number 8, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, dropping 3 spots after losing a heartbreaker to the Atlanta Falcons in a great, glorious Thursday night football game last week. Number 9, the Green Bay Packers. All they do is win, 3-2, moving up from 11 to 9. And number 10, your Dallas Cowboys, going up from 15 to 10. Dude, again, big difference between being 3-2 and being 2-3, right? If Dak Prescott had not jumped on that fumble,
it'd been game over.
It would have been game over. They'd be 2-3, and we'd be talking about how this season's over.
At that point, the Steelers just needed to kneel.
Right.
That's it.
But that win gives them a little bit of wiggle room because the gauntlet is upon us for the Dallas Cowboys. They've got Detroit this week. They've got Atlanta, who's just on fire. They've got the Niners, who are struggling, but they're still the Niners. You got the Commanders. You've got a lot of good teams that the Cowboys have to play over the next 6 weeks or so. That win at least gives them some life. Other teams in the top 15, you have the Eagles at 11, Seahawks at 12, Niners at 13, Falcons at 14. Dude, I'm sorry. If the Niners play the Falcons right now, I take the Falcons, and the Steelers at 15. They got the Saints at 16, baby. 2-3, baby. Derek Carr is going to be out for a couple, they say 3 to 4 weeks with an oblique injury.
Got you bring your backup. Oh, boy, coming off the bench now.
Oh, dude. Just give me Spencer Rattler. Just give me Spencer Rattler.
That's what they're saying. They're going to bring him.
No, they have that other guy, Horner.
Oh, God. I thought they're going to bring Rattler off.
No, Horner's coming out. He was a star player with Fresno State and Washington.
Man. No, that's
back
trash,
in the day.
dude.
He was drafted in the 3rd round a couple of years ago. Spencer Rattler drafted this year in the 4th round.
I thought they're going to bring Rattler out there, man.
I want Spencer Rattler out there. I need Spencer Rattler out there. Give me some of that love, baby. Give me some of that love. It was nice having Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs on today.
Yeah. I was going to show you something here, too, because this was funny to me. It's comical. So they had the NFL Power Rankings that came out, and this was by the NFL on Fox podcast, right?
Yeah.
Their Week 6 Power Rankings. And look at what they have here at number 13 and 14. How in the hell are you going to put an abysmal 2-3 team ahead of the Cowboys who are 3-2? Big difference there.
Because big difference.
Big difference.
The one went to the other team's stadium and beat the living crap
you
out
did.
of them.
And then what happened after that? What happened after that to your team?
Lost to some decent teams.
They've gone on a 3-game skid, dude. They haven't won a game since they beat the Cowboys. That was the Saints Super Bowl, having the parade in the streets when the Saints come marching in. And then look what happened to your team. They lost 3 in a row.
Injuries happen, baby.
Injuries happen. And then they had the Eagles at number 12.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
You can show my screen. Hurricane Milton is making its way to Florida. This is the latest and greatest from weatherchannel.com or weather.com. Look how big that storm is, man. I was talking to my good friend Joel. Joel lives in Apollo Beach, Florida, which is basically Tampa. And he has evacuated to higher ground. He's north of Orlando, evacuating with family over there in Florida. Prayers to all of those who are out there. Everyone was saying that this was going to go from a Cat 5 storm down to a 3 by the time it hit. It's now looking like it might sustain itself as a 4 upon impact. USAA, which has some of its workers over there in Tampa, have been evacuated, have been shut down. This is one hell of a storm, man. That's going to hit.
Think of it this way: Katrina, when it hit New Orleans, it was a Category 3. And it just dumped so much rain and water, everywhere. It wasn't so much the wind damage. It was just the water, that caused so much damage and devastation there to that city. Now you're looking to see what's happening with Florida. And they already got hit with the hurricane, right? Earlier. So you still have the ground saturated, and they're still cleaning up. Now you're going to get hit by a second storm. That's going to be even more powerful. It's going to dump a lot of water. It's going to have a big storm surge. There's nowhere else for this water to go, man. It's just going to be flooding throughout.
And they had Hurricane Helene just a couple of weeks ago.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I mean,
and I saw this person on like it was like a sheriff or something like that, talking about how they fear that they're going to be debris missiles being out there, because what happened after Helene? They started putting all this debris out on the corners, right, to try to have it get cleaned up at some point. This storm is just going to pick it up, and it's going to pick up all the old debris and just spin it around.
Some of the residents, Mike, they were talking about this on the news, and they're like, they have crews out there 24/7. The mayor ordered the dump to be open 24/7 because they're in a rush to get ahead of this thing. Because one of the residents there said, all the debris that's out there on the side of the road on the streets, it's turned into missiles, man.
Yeah.
They said once the wind comes and gets that stuff, it's just flying everywhere. And it's going to cause massive
because it's already chopped into pieces. Everything is chopped into pieces. By the way, the hurricane right now at 145 miles an hour, not only is it keeping its strength, it is expanding in size. And on top of that, Joe, They say that it's going to cross over potentially into just south of Tampa at high tide.
Yeah, you know what?
The worst time it could have happened.
You know what my wife cares about in this whole thing? It's funny to me. She loves her some Disney World, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, I hope Disney World is still left standing. I'm like, the heck with that, man. Like, it's just going to be flooding all over the place.
Yeah.
The hell with Disney World, man.
And you know what's going to happen now? It's going to be a hurricane all the way through, because oftentimes what happens is that a storm hits land and then it just dissipates, right? It goes from a Cat 4 to a Cat 2, right, or Cat 1. It's going to be, when it goes from one side of the state of Florida to the other side, a hurricane all the way through it. Dude, this is going to be...
It's going to be ugly, dude.
One of the worst storms in history. I remember growing up, Hurricane Andrew, and what that did to Florida.
Yeah.
Crazy. If you have friends or family out there, say a prayer for them, because they have a lot going on in their world right now.
Yeah.
We don't know what it's like to live this type of life.
No, you know, one of the things that I thought about too is like, what about the people that can't afford to travel, right? So you don't have a lot of means, you don't have a lot of money, and they're telling you got to flee, you got to evacuate.
Mm-hmm.
How are they getting them out? You know, is there going to be some type of bus that's going to be able to transport them to another facility?
Dude, I saw videos
What are you going to do
on TikTok and Instagram yesterday where they were showing people who were trying to evacuate, who couldn't get out because so many cars on the road, and
there's no gasoline anymore.
They run out of gas. They said that their car had been running for 6 hours and they'd only gone 100 miles.
Yep.
And they're trapped. Dude, this is going to be devastating. And I was actually talking to this with my sister yesterday. What's going to happen to the presidential election over there?
Oh, you heard the mayor of Florida. Kamala wanted to offer aid, and he's like, no, we good.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're going to be asking for aid.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
It's going to be granted, right?
It's not about you at this point.
Well,
it's
the
like,
problem is that Chris Christie back in the day did it with Obama.
Yeah, I understand.
And praised Obama back in the day. People think that kind of propelled him to a re-election.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, at the end of the day, you got to put those differences aside. It's about the people and getting them the help they need.
And the country's still reeling from what happened in North Carolina.
Yeah, man.
In North Carolina, hurricanes hit a hurricane hit a mountain.
Yeah.
Okay, so this wasn't
dude.
a regular hurricane that hit Louisiana or hit Texas. It hit a mountainous region and stayed there. That's not something that normally happens
everywhere, dude.
And the water hit up there and then came gushing down.
Like side of the mountain just came down.
It was a sideways hurricane. It was. So what's going on in North Carolina is tragic, but you can't even get there because the roads to get you there
broken
are gone.
Yeah, they're done. They've been washed out.
Goodness.
A lot of things happening, man.
But Florida, if you're out of electricity for a while, how do you run an election? How do you run an election? What's going to happen to Trump's compound in Mar-a-Lago? Is that going to be obliterated? Is he going to lose a roof?
A lot of places are, man.
Brutal, man.
Can you imagine if you have an electric car? Oh, man. You're done, dude. It probably can travel, maybe 230 miles, 220, you know, on a good day. And then you're just stuck on the highway. I mean, what are you going to do? Just pull over and let everybody pass you by and then try to go ahead and sneak your way in there? I mean, the funny thing is, right, if you drive an electric car and you get stranded on the side of the road because you need somebody to come and give you a charge just to get you to a charging station, guess who comes to help you?
Who?
Somebody in a diesel-powered vehicle with a diesel-powered generator to charge your car. Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw an article earlier today that I thought was kind of interesting. It's on CNN.com.
Oh, look at that. We got a new subscriber, man. Thanks for subscribing, Melissa.
Outstanding. Fantastic, Melissa. Thank you so much. U.S. government considering a breakup of Google.
I saw that, man, because they're a conglomerate when it comes to search engines.
So it says, for the first time since AT&T was dismantled into baby bells 4 decades ago, the U.S. government is weighing the breakup of one of the world's largest and most consequential monopolies, Google. Yeah. I mean, monopolies are what monopolies are, right?
Yeah. It is what it is, man. I mean, it's about to happen. It was bound to happen sooner or later.
Yeah.
I mean, Google owns so much of everything from what's going on in your phone, if you're an Android user, to your search engines, even AI, that kind of stuff. I mean, they're everywhere, man.
Now, the problem that I see is because I work in the financial world, right?
Yeah.
Google or Meta is involved in a lot of
Meta's
mutual funds.
Facebook.
Well, Meta's Facebook, but
Yeah.
Google and Meta.
Yeah.
If you go to any mutual fund, big mutual fund, right, and it's a large cap, you'll see a lot of like top 10 holdings.
Yeah.
Google is oftentimes up there, and Meta also with Facebook as well. I mean, it just is what it is. I mean, it's a big thing. It used to be that AT&T was that like glorious stock. AT&T stock hasn't done crap in forever. Actually, had a pretty decent year last year. It was the years before that were kind of meh.
You know what? For entertainment news, this is what we're gonna kind of talk about here as we start winding down the show down.
Oh yeah, the starting five.
We have the starting five, and it's gonna premiere 12 hours, or that was yesterday, right? So it's already out there on Netflix, man, and you can go ahead and check it out. Supposedly, this is going to be a very good show. I guess it's like a docuseries, because it was full access. They were following these athletes around for a full season. Good stuff, man. I mean, if you're a Netflix subscriber, make sure you do go and check it out. It is out on Netflix as of now.
If you're into gossip, by the way, I want to watch that. By the way, that's pretty good. I've been seeing the advertisements for that as well. Snoop Dogg. Some stories about Snoop Dogg. He wanted, and he got it granted, his 1993 arrest sealed. Didn't want details coming out of an arrest from 31 years ago. But yeah, so Snoop Dogg making it known that he didn't want his criminal history to be brought back from the dead. I love me some Snoop Dogg, dude.
God.
Snoop Dogg's amazing.
Yeah, JHNSB was saying that Google owns this stream and half the internet. It's, the case that happens. We are using Google Chrome to go ahead and stream. So they own. That's exactly correct. They own half the internet. Google's everywhere, dude.
It is
everywhere. Speakers, smartphones, you name it, man. It's out there.
Yeah, we were talking about Meta being Facebook, right?
Yeah.
You know that you are a big company and potentially a monopoly if your name is a verb. I'm going to Google this. You don't say I'm going to Bing this. I'm going to Yahoo search this. I'm going to Google this. Facebook me was a big term back in the day.
Yeah.
No one says Instagram me. No one says TikTok me.
What was the other term?
Facebook me.
MySpace.
MySpace.
When before Facebook, it was a MySpace. Tom was always your first friend.
Tom, yeah.
Remember Tom?
He always just looked back. It's like shout out to Tom. All he wanted to do was talk music and have a good time.
It was funny when you see Tom on Facebook.
Yeah,
as a friend request from MySpace. I'm like, oh God, dude. Look at this. JHNSB says from the starting five docuseries.
Ain't no party like a Diddy party because the Diddy party don't stop.
Damn.
Matt Lerma said, I say TikTok me.
Hey, you know who has a good following on TikTok? No lies, dude, in this. Matt Lerma.
He does.
He has a big following on TikTok.
He does TikTok lives. He does battles. I have no idea. Matt, when we get together for a beer soon,
gotta explain it.
Gotta explain to me what a battle is.
He doesn't know.
Dude, my algorithms show that there's this girl that I follow on TikTok. She's cute. She's from San Antonio. Her name's Evie Ramos. She's forever doing battles. I'm like, what are you battling? Is it just a battle of is my hotness hotter than your hotness? What are the battles?
God. Matt's already laughing. It's gonna be funny. Matt trying to explain to Mike what a battle is. Can you explain to me what a battle is? Oh man.
Everyone hit the like button, subscribe, share. Spurs season gets going. Spurs play Orlando tonight. Second preseason game. We're going to see Wemby out there on the court with Stefan Castle, maybe CP3. But the Spurs regular season starts 2 weeks from tomorrow. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about this podcast as we get going with the Spurs season. Wemby's second year with the team. The leap he's going to take. Hopefully the Spurs make a run, start winning some games. It's going to be exciting times, baby. Exciting times. But I got to head out. Joe?
I got to head out too. I got a call from the wife now. So
I am going to the Spurs Club right now. Going to go have some lunch over there with a colleague of mine. I haven't been there in about a month, man. I got to justify my membership over there.
Okay.
I haven't been there in a month, so I spent a lot of time in the Houston area. So there's a lovely lady I've been spending some time with over there. So
There you go.
but very nice. Everyone have a fantastic day, fantastic hump day. Pray for your friends and loved ones in Florida. My name is Mike. That's Joe. We'll be back tomorrow. This is the Alamo City Sportscast.